guys, Heather here with Kailo Nutrition, and today we're going to make one of my most favorite things in the world, and that is cashew cream. So if you need to be following a dairy-free diet, or you just want to decrease the dairy in your life, whether you have a dairy allergy, a dairy sensitivity, or if you're following a low iodine diet in preparation for radioactive iodine treatment, this is going to be a lifesaver. It's going to be the foundation for so many types of dishes. You can use cashew cream to make soups really creamy, very decadent. You can use it to create dips, dressings. You can use it as like a mayo or a sour cream substitution. You can use it in smoothies. And lastly, sometimes you just want to give a swirl of cashew cream in something like an oatmeal. Again, just to give your dishes this decadent, creamy mouthfeel, just absolutely deliciousness, just like dairy would provide, however, minus the dairy protein that can cause so many people so much trouble. Okay, so you're ready to make cashew cream. There's a few things you need to know. If you don't have a high-power blender like a Vitamix, then you're gonna wanna somehow soak your cashews for a little bit. You can either soak them in water for about 2 hours and then drain the water and put it in your blender and then fill it with new water. Or you can soak them overnight. Same thing, you wanna ditch the water before you use it and add new water. Or lastly, you can actually boil your cashews for about 15 to 20 minutes on a high rapid boil. What you're trying to do here is create a really smooth, creamy mouthfeel. You don't want it to be gritty. So just think about a creamy soup or a dressing or mayo or something like that where you don't want to taste the grittiness of the nut. You want it to be really smooth. And sometimes the high power blenders, they can handle it, but the others can't always do that, and you'll want to soak them first. So we're going to take our cashews and we're going to put them in the Vitamix. Specific to at least the Vitamix, I like to cover the blades, make sure they're covered. Now, the amount of water that you add to your Vitamix is going to dictate what you end up with. The less amount of water you have, the more creamy it is and more like a dip. As you add more water, you move towards more of a sour cream or a mayo consistency. And if you add even more, you're gonna end up with a very pourable dressing. So I always start with enough water just below the cashew line. I know from experience that this is not gonna be enough for a dressing. This is probably gonna be just enough for a dip. I might even need to add a little bit more. So let's go ahead and do that now. So we have the cashews in the water in the Vitamix, and now we're going to turn it on. It's still pretty chunky, so it's not creamy. It's still pretty thick, and so even for a dip, I'm gonna add a little bit more water and turn it on again. Now you can kind of see that it's really smooth. It's thick, but it's very smooth. There's no grain to it whatsoever. So this would make a really good cashew cream to add to a soup. So if you had a butternut squash soup or a mushroom soup or any kind of vegetable soup and you wanted to make it creamy, just take a scoop of this and add it to your bowl, or take quite a bit, it'd be like a cup or two, and add it to the entire pot. If you were making a sour cream or mayo, you probably want to add a little bit more water. So we're going to add some water and turn this back on. So now this is more like a little ranch dip. It's more pourable, okay? One thing to consider is that this will dehydrate in the fridge. So it'll last a long time. This will last at least a week, but over time, it will get thicker in the fridge. So whether you're making a dip or a dressing, you can always add water throughout the week in order to get it more thin. It'll thicken over the course of the week, which may make it great for spreading. You could spread it on some bread. If you make a chickpea chicken salad, this would make for a great mayo. You're not really looking for taste per se. It's more of a mouthfeel, just like mayo would add to any kind of chicken salad dish. If I were to make a mayo, I'd probably add a little bit of Dijon, maybe a little bit of apple cider vinegar. If you could do a sour cream, you could always flavor it. A smoky lime kind of sour cream. You can always add like a squeeze of lime and some smoked paprika. So your imagination is the only limitation here. And then lastly, if you add a little bit more water, you can even thin it out some more, which would make a base for a great creamy dressing. So there you have it. This is a cashew-based, dairy-free alternative to making dressings, creamy dressings, to making cashew mayo or cashew sour cream. And with less water, you can always make like a cashew-based dip. Again, your imagination is what limits you here. So if you think of all the flavors that you enjoy, things like sun-dried tomatoes, salsa, mustard, you can always add this to a cashew cream base, and then you have a creamy version that is completely dairy-free, completely safe for those with allergies or sensitivities, and as well as those following a low iodine diet. And not to mention, it's absolutely delicious. You can have the decadence of dairy without the dairy protein. So there you go. That's cashew cream, and I look forward to hearing how it turns out for everybody.